All right, so tell us what your mission was in Japan.
Well, obviously our business in the fire service is to find the living. We're in the rescue business. So when we first got there, that was our tactic, was to go out, race the clock against time, and find the living.
And there we see some of your pictures. Here you are with Hunter here. So how does that how does that work? You were assigned a particular city?
Correct. We were given an operational area that the country had not been searched yet. So the task force team went into that area. We decided a search plan to come up with.
All right, so we see Hunter here, and there's an additional dog?
Yes, that's Joe in that picture. He's one of our youngest, newest rookie, actually, of that mission.
And there you see Hunter on the plane?
It's on the plane, taking a little fiesta on the way, getting ready for the big search. When we landed at the Air Force Base in Japan, the military there, the Air Force, supported us tactically with all the vehicles, buses, and trucks that we needed to get down to Ofinato. Once we got into Ofinato, now we're on about day two or so, we had a lot of search area to cover in a quick, rapid amount of time because no one had been there yet, and we're racing that, like I said, that 72-hour clock to find the trapped and the living as quick as possible.
Now, how special are these dogs? I mean, we look at these teams go from the States to Japan. Is it that specialized?
Absolutely. The dogs are one of our best tools to locate and or detect live human beings. Once we locate them with their keen nose that they have, now we put the other 74 people on our rescue team who are trained in various methods of removing the victim, breaking the rubble apart, cutting all the debris away from them, and get them out and treat them medically, things like that. So yes, they are one of our best tools. They can go places that we as humans can't walk, we can't crawl into safely. We use them and their nose to locate it, and then we rescue them.
And how successful were you in Japan?
Well, unfortunately, we didn't find any live in Japan. Unlike our efforts in Haiti, where we rescued 12 human beings, we weren't successful as we would have wanted to be in Japan. However, we did as much as we possibly could as a team for the country of Japan. They were extremely appreciative for our efforts. They're a wonderful culture and nation of people. They were just a pleasure to be around, and very happy we were there to help them.
You know, I'm looking at you. I've interviewed you before when you came back from Haiti with Hunter, and I hear you talking about Japan. I see the pain in your face.
Yes.
How difficult is it for a dog that is perhaps trained to find survivors?
It's very difficult for them. They go through the same stress, believe it or not, that we do, because their reward, which is their toy, comes from a victim who's alive. And in Japan, through days and days of searching, we weren't finding the living. So there's times when we actually take a live human being, one of the rescuers, or in his case, we took one of the Air Force guys. We said, go hide behind there. We're going to send the dog in, and you give him his toy when he finds you. So that's how we relieve the stress on the dogs when we're there. But he doesn't know that he was an Air Force guy. He was a human being that was at a site that gave him his toy.
Now, I'm looking at the extent of the damage here.
Yes.
So, you know, I'm thinking of the different earthquakes we've covered, you know, Haiti and New Zealand. Here you had really a trifecta. You had the earthquake, you had the tsunami, and then you had radiation from a power plant.
Yes.
So how difficult was that for you?
It was very difficult. I mean, as rescuers, every disaster we've been on over the last 10 years, go back to Oklahoma, 9/11, Katrina was all water. Then we had the mudslides of Southern California after the rains. We keep encountering, here we have the tsunami in Japan. We keep encountering different types of disasters and having to come up with different rescue techniques as fire department people to rescue these various victims. And in this case, the tsunami and the power of water showed us a new element.
Were you worried about radiation at all? You were in northern Japan.
To be honest with you, our first priority was to rescue the human beings and the live people of Japan. We knew that Washington and the people who sent us there, including the LA County Fire Department and including our fire chief, was keeping our families informed of our risk to any radiation. We were not at any time concerned of it. However, we did have monitors within our team that certain individuals wore every day, and hourly they would record any changes. And as long as we knew we were safe, we could keep giving 110% for the country of Japan.
let me ask you, people don't realize the history of this dog. This is a Border Collie. Hunter is almost 9 years old now, but...
you would never know it.
He was about to go to a shelter?
He was rescued, like many of the dogs that come from the Search Dog Foundation. That's where we get our dogs. Rescued from individuals who don't want these dogs, whether they're from a shelter because they ran away or chewed through their leash, or whether someone just said, he's too rambunctious, he's too hyper, he digs in my flower bed, needs my sprinklers, I don't want him anymore. Well, the foundation, the Search Dog Foundation says, we want your demeanor, your temperament, and we're going to take you and train you to rescue a human life. So they put a certain amount of training into them, and they find firefighters like myself, and they say, here, we aren't going to charge you for this animal. We're a non-profit organization, and we want you to go out there and do the best you can to save human life.
And Hunter, you and Hunter are very successful as a team. Thank you once again for coming in.